Exposed, amazing tales of resilience from conquered peoples that transformed their lives forever. Maya stood behind the counter at the Greasy Spoon Diner, pouring coffee with a practiced flick of her wrist. Exposed, she thought, feeling every bit the headline herself as she watched the truckers sip their black brews. The townsfolk the diner served were once bound by shared struggle, yet a growing unease now simmered beneath their old relations. A looming corporation threatened to seize their homes and dreams. At just 35, the weight of her husband's sudden death still clung to her like a heavy fog. With two spirited children, Lily and Jake, to care for, she was forced to put aside her sorrows to ensure their small world didn't crumble beneath the pressure of bills and fading hope. The diner buzzed with gossip, whispers of the corporation scouting the land like vultures circling a dying animal. Often, the words crushed Aunt Mabel's old stories of their ancestors, who had fought against outsiders and defended their community's spirit. Maya craved their tales of resilience, especially now. Just recently, she had stumbled upon faded letters in her attic from her grandfather detailing his fight against a logging company that tried to take away their woods. This fire in her blood ignited a flicker of determination. Maybe the old ways held answers for her family and friends. But it was hard to be hopeful amidst the storm. Just then, the clouds darkened outside, mirroring her thoughts. Then came a fateful afternoon, as pelting rain turned to a raging flood, rushing through the streets like a wild beast. It swept through homes, tossing aside years of memories like discarded toys. As Lena's bar stool toppled over, Maya felt an instinctive jolt. She couldn't let it wash away her community. In the chaos, old grudges flooded away too, exposing neighbors with genuine hearts ready to lend a hand, even those who had long scorned each other. "Come on, grab that rope," she shouted, her voice breaking through the tumult. Something powerful came over her. It was as if she were the sun breaking through the clouds, vibrant and life-giving. The townsfolk rallied, pulling together children from roofs and rolling up their sleeves to help those they had once considered other. Each life saved was a testament to the spirit of their town. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Just when it felt like they might finally have a chance to heal together and stand against the corporation's plans, Maya was caught in a moral crossfire. The corporation promised money, freedom from bills, a new beginning. What would they do? Sacrifice their homes for security? Or protect their roots in standing with each other? As the last remnants of the flood began to recede, Maya felt the fragile threads of community woven tighter than before, even as lingering tensions threatened to unravel them. And in that moment, when the sun pierced through the haze, she knew she had to make a choice not just for herself, but for all of them. In her heart, the weight of those decisions crashed down like the waves of a storm, leaving her to wonder if hope could truly be rebuilt from the rubble. Would she be able to stand up for what she believed in when it mattered most? Maya wiped a bead of sweat from her forehead, the heat from the kitchen mixing with the weight of her thoughts. The floods had not just taken their toll outside, they had churned up old wounds and fears that lay dormant among the community. People whispered in huddled groups, half fearing that even discussing the future might doom them to failure. The diner felt different now, even if the food was the same. The clinking of silverware and the hum of chatter seemed heavier, as if the weight of uncertainty was pressing down. Outside, the skies had cleared, but the scars of the flood remained. Debris was still lodged in the streets, and water-soaked belongings spilled out of homes, leaving a visual testament to the chaos. Maya could see Mr. Thompson sifting through what was left of his childhood photos, his hands trembling as he tossed aside each drenched memento. The sight of his pain pierced through her concerns, forcing her to focus outside herself. "Maya," he called, his voice breaking. "Can you help me with this?" "Of course," she yelled back, instinctively moving toward him. It was in these moments, unfolding around her, that the true spirit of the community took shape once more. With each effort to restore a home, there came another thread woven back into their bond. The children played nearby, splashing in puddles that remained, their laughter contrasting against the grim reality. She watched Lily and Jake jump and shout, infectious joy radiating from them, a reminder that hope lingered even after despair. As she reached Mr. Thompson, she knelt beside him. The deep lines on his face seemed to tell tales of struggle, of resilience. "I remember when the old mill flooded years ago," he said, eyes focusing on a soggy family portrait in his hand. "We thought we had lost everything, but look around, you're here, and I'm here. We healed. Maybe we need to remember that strength now," Maya said softly. "We've been through worse, right?" "Right," he agreed, a flicker of hope igniting in his eyes. "If we stand together, we can't be taken down so easily." Maya felt the resolve solidify in her chest. They were more than just the land or the buildings, they were the spirit of their shared memories and experiences. With a new idea blossoming in her mind, she took a deep breath. "Let us hold a community meeting tonight," she proposed. "We can talk about what we want for our future." He hesitated, eyes darting to the ruins. "What if they laugh at us? What if they don't listen? Then we'll be the loudest voices they hear," she declared, the fire inside her intensifying. "It's time we take a stand for our children, for ourselves." The enthusiasm around her began to grow, a subtle murmur spreading through the small crowd. As the sun sank lower, painting the sky with hues of orange and pink, a sense of possibility crept in. Maya called out to the small gathering, rallying each face she could see. "Let us show them who we are." A cheer erupted among the townsfolk, breaking barriers that had been built in silence. Later that evening, as she lay in bed, surrounded by her children's gentle breaths, Maya felt more alive than she had in weeks. Could they truly unite and fight back against the corporation? The thought both excited and terrified her. Just then, a sudden knock echoed through the house, jarring her from her thoughts. Who could be at her door at this hour? Did something happen? The urgency in her chest rose. Just as a plan was forming, another twist awaited. Would she be ready for what lay ahead? Maya sat up straight, her heart racing. The rhythmic knocking continued, sharp and insistent. "Who is it?" she called out, trying to keep her voice steady. "It's me, David." Her brother's familiar voice eased some of her tension. Still, she hesitated before slipping out of bed. David often dropped by, but his timing was unusual tonight. Opening the door, she found him standing there, soaked and breathless, raindrops clinging to his hair like tiny crystals. "What's wrong?" she asked, worry knitting her brows together. "I just heard the news," he said, stepping inside, shaking his head as if to dispel the chill outside. "The corporation is planning a meeting tomorrow. They're bringing in investors, big names from the city. They want to talk about redevelopment plans for the flood zone." Maya felt a wave of anger rise within her. After everything that has happened, they're just going to swoop in and decide our fate? David nodded, his eyes darkening. "Yeah, and if we don't act quickly, they might just get what they want without us even knowing. We can't let them take everything. We have to fight back." The weight of his words sank into her. Suddenly, the warmth of her cozy home felt suffocating, the walls closing in on her. "We were planning a meeting tonight. Maybe it can give the community a voice before they come in." "That's a great idea," David exclaimed, an infectious urgency sparking in his tone. "We need to rally everyone. They need to understand what's at stake." Excitement bubbled in her chest, countering her fear. "Let us reach out to everyone we can. They need to hear about the meeting, know they matter." As they began brainstorming, the energy in the room shifted. Ideas flowed like a rushing river, fueled by their determination. They discussed plans for the diner, how to spread the word, and how they could encourage people to see their shared strength. Maya's thoughts drifted back to Mr. Thompson, to the whispers of hope and the resolution to rise. If they could ignite that spirit across town, they might just have a chance to reclaim their narrative. Hours later, Maya found herself standing outside, the night air crisp against her skin. A few neighbors were beginning to gather, their faces lit by the porch light, apprehensive yet hopeful. Maya stepped forward, her voice rising above the murmurs. "Everyone, I know the situation feels heavy right now. But we can't let fear keep us silent. We have a chance to stand together, to make our voices heard. The corporation thinks they can just take what's ours, but we know what this place means. Let us come together tonight and talk about how we can show them who we really are." The crowd slowly swelled, more people trickling in, anxious eyes meeting hers. As they nodded in agreement, Maya felt a warmth radiate through her, feeding the fire within. Just as they began to organize chairs and form a circle, a squall hit, sending a chill through the air. The winds howled, rattling the trees and clattering the old diner's sign. It felt ominous, a warning from nature. But Maya squared her shoulders, determination settling deep in her bones. "We're not going anywhere," she declared, lifting her chin defiantly against the storm. "Let them come. We have our voices, our lives, and each other. That's more powerful than any corporation." The crowd erupted into cheers, a wave of unity washing over them. But in the back of her mind, a nagging doubt lingered. Could they truly rally everyone and stand strong against the corporation's looming threat? As the gathering began, Maya knew one thing for certain: their battle was only just beginning. The night held its secrets, and she had no idea what tomorrow would reveal. Suddenly, David's phone buzzed loudly, his expression shifting as he read the message. "Maya, you need to see this." Her heart dropped. What news awaited her now? Maya's stomach clenched as she peered over David's shoulder, desperate to see what had just disrupted their momentum. David's thumb slid across the screen, his brow furrowed deeper with every word he read. The urgency in his eyes sent a jolt of panic through her. "What does it say?" she urged, her voice barely above a whisper. "It's an article, an early leak about tomorrow's meeting," David replied, his voice thick with disbelief. "They're not just discussing redevelopment. They're planning to present a blueprint. It looks like they intend to demolish half the neighborhood to make way for a luxury resort." A hush fell over their gathering, confusion and fear hanging heavy in the air. The roar of the storm outside mirrored the internal turmoil brewing within Maya. She took a breath, fighting against the feeling of hopelessness creeping in. "Luxury resort?" someone muttered from the crowd. A murmur broke out, people exchanging anxious glances. It felt personal, a knife in the heart of everything they loved. Maya stepped forward, taking a deep breath to quell the rising tide of emotion. "Listen. We can't let this happen," she called out, her voice gaining strength. "We know this community. These houses. These streets are our homes, where our families have lived for generations. We can't let them erase our history for a resort that only a few will benefit from." The crowd grew quiet, her words hanging in the air. What started as a few hesitant nods shifted into something stronger. David, stepping beside her, took the opportunity to rally everyone. "We need to organize a protest. This is our home, and we must protect it. If they think they can just come in and wipe us away, we need to show them how wrong they are." As they started discussing strategies to mobilize their neighbors, Maya felt their collective fear start to morph into something more powerful: determination. She knew they had the power to stand together against this. Suddenly, Mrs. Jensen, a woman in her 60s with deep lines etched on her face from years of hard work, spoke up. "We can tell our stories. Make them real, show them what this community means. They think they can dismiss us like we're nothing. But we are more than just houses and land. We're families." Maya's heart swelled. "Yes. We'll gather stories from everyone here. Let us create a booklet or a video. Something that shows the heart of this neighborhood. If we can make them understand what they're trying to destroy, maybe we'll have a chance." The crowd erupted with energy, suggestions flying left and right. People were inspired, and the electricity in the air was palpable. As they began to plan, they mapped out a timeline for gathering stories, contacting the press, and organizing a rally. Each detail felt like a stepping stone, a way to reclaim their narrative before it was lost forever. However, in the back of her mind, a flicker of self-doubt loomed, whispering that their efforts may not be enough against the corporation's might. With each passing second, the urgency mounted. They were in a race against time. As the wind howled louder and the rain intensified, Maya felt a strange sense of calm wash over her amidst the chaos. They were galvanizing their community, igniting a movement rooted in resilience. Together, they would fight back not just for their homes, but for each other. Just then, a van pulled up at the diner. A few figures stepped out, drenched but determined. Maya's heart skipped. This wasn't just any group. These were her friends from the neighborhood youth club, the ones she had grown up with, the ones she thought weren't paying attention. Running toward them, she caught sight of their faces, fierce and ready. "What are you doing here?" she shouted through the rain. "We heard about the meeting." One of them yelled back, her voice loud and clear. "We're here to help." Maya felt a rush of relief and hope. Maybe, just maybe, they were not facing this battle alone. As they gathered around, the question hung in the air: how far would they go to protect their home? The storm raged on, but within their hearts, a new story was beginning to unfold. Would that story be one of triumph? Or would it fade into the shadows of corporate greed? It was time to find out. As the rain poured relentlessly, soaking into the pavement, Maya felt a surge of energy ignite within her. The arrival of her friends from the youth club was a beacon of hope, illuminating the darkness that threatened to overwhelm her. She hadn't realized how many voices they could add to their cause, nor how much strength could come from the people she'd grown up with. "All right, let's push this forward," David said, rallying everyone with a vigor that filled the diner. "We need everyone's perspectives. Stories, memories, what made this place special to you? When we stand together, they can't ignore us." Maya turned to her friends, their familiar faces now a source of inspiration. "Who wants to kick this off?" she asked, her heart pounding, excitement and anxiety intertwined. One of her friends, Rachel, stepped forward. "I'll go. My family owns the bakery down the street. We've been there for over 20 years. We've seen the kids grow up, the community come together during festivals. This isn't just our livelihood, it's our way of connecting with everyone." "Yes. Share your story, Rach," came a shout from the back, igniting a chorus of agreement. Maya could see people nodding, eager for their moment to speak. It dawned on her how powerful each voice could be in weaving their collective tale of resilience. While Rachel spoke, Maya felt her anxiety shift into something intoxicating. Each word Rachel uttered felt like a thread, pulling them closer as a community. It became a tapestry of shared laughter, bittersweet memories, and the fierce determination to protect what they loved. One voice led to another, and soon the room was filled with stories. Mr. Thompson spoke about his garden, where neighbors lent a hand each summer, creating a lush sanctuary where laughter blossomed alongside tomatoes and basil. Maria shared her memories of the neighborhood's block parties, where everyone danced, laughed, and celebrated under the stars, united. Maya listened, her chest swelling with pride and passion. The diner buzzed with life, the storm outside nothing more than white noise. Each story articulated the heart of their community, the spirit that had woven them together for years. The more they spoke up, the lighter the burden felt on her shoulders. When the wave of stories finally settled, they began strategizing. Inspired by the power of their voices, they crafted a plan for a community rally. Banners with personal testimonies, flyers that showcased the emotion behind their mission, and ideas for inviting local media sprang to life. But as the energy surged around her, doubt wormed back into Maya's mind. Would it be enough? What if this rally fell on deaf ears? The corporation had money, influence, and a marketing machine. A sudden chill swept through her, breaking her connection to the warmth of unity in the room. Rebecca, one of the younger members, must have sensed her momentary hesitation. "Maya," she called out, drawing attention. "We're all here because we believe in this. You believe in this. You're the heart of this effort. If we're going to stand firm, we need you leading us." A rush of encouragement enveloped Maya, her heart racing again. It felt exhilarating, being lifted by the very people she longed to protect. But could she carry the weight? Just then, the lights flickered and dimmed momentarily. The chatter stilled as everyone looked around in confusion. Then a flicker of movement caught her eye outside. Unmarked vehicles pulling up, their headlights cutting through the pouring rain. The unease rippled through the group. "What now?" someone murmured. "Are they here to intimidate us?" Maya's heart raced, every instinct telling her to protect the warmth they had just built. Drawing in a steadying breath, she looked to her friends. "We face this together, whatever it is." Through the anticipation coupled with fear, Maya felt the tide shift once more as they banded closer together. The time to confront the looming threat had come, but how would they respond to what awaited them outside? She could sense something big was about to unfold, and the thought made her pulse quicken. As the diner buzzed with speculation, the question lingered: would they stand united in the face of uncertainty, or would this be the moment their resolve was tested? Whatever happened next would determine their fate, and she was ready for the storm. The diner held its collective breath, the air thick with suspense. Maya could feel it, every pulse of energy in the room, every heartbeat echoing her own. Those unmarked vehicles loomed large in their minds, shadows against the shimmer of the rain-soaked street. She sucked in a steadying breath, aiming to anchor the swirling tides of uncertainty. "Listen up," she said, her voice ringing out above the murmur. "Whatever they want, we stand our ground. Our stories matter. Our community matters." The fervor in her tone washed over her friends, fueling their courage. David stepped forward, conviction in his eyes. "Exactly. Whatever's going on out there, we can't let them destroy what we've built. We're not backing down." His words sunk deep, igniting a collective fire within them. One by one, others joined in, their voices rising like a wave, determined and united. "We won't be silenced. This community is our home." Each declaration seeped through the haze of fear, grounding them in purpose. Just as the rallying cries filled the diner, the first figure emerged from one of the vehicles, trench coat glistening under the diner's neon lights. The door swung open, and the tall figure stepped out, sending a chill through the group. It was someone Maya didn't recognize, but the hostile air was palpable. The newcomer scanned the diner, a sly smirk creeping across their face. The tension soared. "Who is that?" Rebecca whispered, gripping Maya's arm. I don't know," Maya murmured, her insides twisting. She realized how exposed they were. They needed a plan, fast. Eyes flicked around the room, and she sensed a shift. The momentum was faltering. "All right," Maya said, raising her hands for calm amid the rising crescendo of anxiety. "Let us not panic. We need to be ready for whatever comes next." She glanced around, catching the gaze of each friend, drawing strength from them. "Rachel," Maya called, "can you grab the flyers we made? Let us show them what we're fighting for." Nods bounced around the group, an unspoken agreement forming. With a resolute step, Maya walked to the diner entrance, heart racing, determined to confront the uncertainty head-on. She pushed the door open, the damp air hitting her like a wave. Her friends followed, each step echoing the rhythm of solidarity. As they emerged outside, the rain hit their skin like little pinpricks, but they stood tall, side by side. The smirking figure turned to face them, surprise flickering across his features. The muscles in Maya's jaw tightened, and her heart beat a war drum's rhythm in her chest. "Who are you?" she called out, her voice steady despite the storm that raged around them. The stranger smiled, adjusting the collar of their coat. "Just a messenger, really," they replied, ice dripping from each word. "And I think you're going to find your little rally quite inconvenient." Maya narrowed her eyes, adrenaline coursing through her veins. We won't let you intimidate us, she shouted. This is our community. The figure laughed, a hollow sound that ricocheted off the diner walls. Community? Or a sinking ship? With that, the tension crackled, the air thick with anticipation. Maya's friends tightened their grips on one another, faces set with a mix of fear and determination. They were in it together, and now, more than ever, every ounce of courage counted. Let us show them what we're made of, she murmured, glancing at David and Rachel. They nodded, expressions a blend of resolve and fire. As they prepared to face whatever challenge awaited them, Maya felt a spark of something more profound than fear-hope. Yet, in the back of her mind, a nagging thought lingered. What would it take to protect their community against this looming threat? The storm was only just beginning, and their heartbeats were synchronized with the urgency of the moment. Would they emerge victorious, or would they find themselves deeper in turmoil than they ever imagined possible? Maya felt the heat of the confrontation rising, a tension that vibrated through the collective body of their group. The rain poured around them, transforming the world into a blur of water and noise, but even the storm couldn't drown out the determination in their hearts. Have you ever seen a sinking ship look so confident? The stranger taunted, stepping forward. Their eyes glinted maliciously, as if savoring the moment. But Maya didn't flinch. This ship won't sink, she replied, her voice breaking through the chaos, steady and unwavering. You're mistaken if you think fear will turn us against each other. David moved a bit closer, matching Maya's intensity. Our stories are woven together. We've fought too hard for this place, and we're not giving up. His fists clenched with passion, the stranger smirked, that sly grin stretching wider. Ah, but stories can be rewritten. What's to stop me from changing your narrative? They waved a hand dismissively over the group, a thin membrane separating them from the threat. Consider this an invitation to reflect. Rachel stepped forward, her brow furrowed. What do you mean? What could you possibly want with us? Let us just say, the figure began, voice dripping with mockery, disrupting a community like yours will be a piece of cake. Or perhaps, a chance to start fresh, a reset. Their eyes gleamed with something that felt suspicious, dark, and insidious. The chill of their words settled deep within Maya. Could they really be thinking of dismantling everything they built? Anger bubbled beneath her skin, mingling with the fear wrapping its icy fingers around her heart. The stranger noticed it, reveling in the uncertainty. Look around you, they encouraged, arms open wide. Do you see strength? Or a collection of scared faces just waiting for the right push to turn on each other? Imagine what might happen if you were faced with a choice. The laughter that followed was chilling. Maya's resolve crystallized in that moment. You don't know us at all, she said, her voice cutting through the rain's relentless patter. We're stronger than you'll ever understand. We've built a community steeped in resilience and trust. You think you can tear us apart with words? Someone from the crowd, an old woman with gray hair, steady and fierce, spoke up. Our history is filled with struggles, yes, but also triumph. We will not be victims to your games. A wave of murmurs resonated around her, echoing the sentiment of defiance. The stranger's playful demeanor deflated, replaced with a darker energy. Very well, then. I will see just how strong you are. They paused, gaze narrowing, but don't be surprised when the foundation begins to crack under the weight of reality. With that cryptic warning, the figure turned sharply, striding back toward the vehicles, leaving the group shaken yet resolute. Maya, adrenaline still surging, gathered her friends close. We can't let this intimidate us. We must fight for our narrative, our truth. David and Rachel nodded, never averting their eyes from the shrinking figure. Each heartbeat pulsed with the weight of what lay ahead. What if they're right? Rachel whispered, her worry creeping in despite the bravado. What if we're not strong enough? I refuse to believe that, Maya declared. We've come too far, fought too hard. It's time to show them our power, the true strength of our community. As the rain began to ease, softening its assault, a flicker of hope mingled with the urgency. They could hold fast to their identity, maybe even weave a new story that echoed resilience and unity. In that moment, Maya felt the undeniable bond between them deepen. They would face whatever came, arms linked, hearts aligned. But the question still hung in the air, pulsing with urgency. What price would they have to pay to protect their community from the looming storm? Tomorrow would unfold the answer. The morning sky broke through the lingering clouds, casting a soft light across the muddy ground where Maya and her friends had stood the night before. The tension wasn't gone, it lingered like the dampness in the air. They gathered in a circle, their faces drawn, eyes reflecting both fear and defiance. "What's our plan?" David asked, his voice steady but edged with urgency. Maya took a deep breath, feeling the weight of her words. "We need to come together, double down on what makes us strong. It's not just about resisting them. It's about showing we won't let anyone rewrite our story." A murmur of agreement swept through the group, igniting some hope amongst the worries. Rachel looked up, her expression shifting slightly. "But how can we fight something we don't fully understand? What if the stranger has some kind of power over everyone?" The thought echoed in the silence. Maya clenched her jaw, realizing they were facing more than just a singular threat. This was about their whole way of life. "They might think they have power, but we have each other," she said firmly. "Let us reach out to the community. We can hold a gathering, invite everyone. Share our stories and reaffirm what we stand for." David nodded. "That's brave. But what if the stranger shows up again? What if they try to disrupt everything?" "Then we face them together," Maya replied, inspired by the fierce spirit igniting within her. As they brainstormed ideas, a chill settled deep within Maya, a reminder of the stranger's taunts. But there was also a comforting warmth, a sense of belonging that reminded her of why they were fighting. Weeks of labor and solidarity transformed the town square into a lively gathering place. Colorful banners waved in the gentle breeze, and the scent of freshly baked goods wafted through the air. Families filled the square as laughter floated above the chatter. Joy could be seen in every face, but Maya couldn't shake the feeling that darkness lurked just beyond the edge of their celebratory bubble. As she moved through the crowd, she shared stories of strength and survival, memories that would knit them tighter. "We've been through storms before and come out stronger. Let us not forget the resilience inside us." The crowd cheered, the energy palpable, but underneath it lay an undercurrent of worry. Suddenly, a hush fell over the square as the stranger stepped out from the shadows. Drenched in an aura of menace, they posed a stark contrast to the vibrant celebration. "Such a lovely little gathering," they sneered, eyes scanning the crowd like a predator eyeing its prey. Maya's heartbeat quickened. She felt the warmth of her friend standing beside her. "This isn't fear," she barked defiantly. "We're not backing down now." The stranger chuckled softly, but fear seeped through the crowd. It felt as if the air had sucked out of the joyous atmosphere. "You think you can cast aside your doubts and fears so easily?" Maya took a step forward, heart racing. "We're not afraid of you." "Then let us see how strong those bonds really are," the stranger said, smirking. "Tomorrow, I'll return, and you'll have a choice to make." Maya's resolve boiled inside her. They had come so far, but the specter of doubt was a powerful force. The stranger's challenge loomed over them like a dark cloud. Would their unity be enough to face whatever lay ahead? With the stranger's words hanging heavily in the air, Maya turned to her friends, determination rising within her. "We will show them the heart of our community. We will show them we're stronger together." But in the shadow of that promise lay an unspoken fear. What kind of choice awaited them tomorrow? Would they find the strength they needed, or would doubt tear them apart? The tension wrapped around them, tangible and thick, as they braced for the challenge that lay ahead. The sun hung low in the sky, casting long, dappled shadows across the town square. Maya stood at the edge of the gathering, her heart pounding as the memory of the stranger's cruel smile haunted her thoughts. Tomorrow felt like the weight of a mountain pressing down, and everyone was holding their breath, waiting for the unknown. Beside her, David leaned in, his voice barely above a whisper. "Do you think it was wise to challenge them like that?" Maya looked at him, her resolve flickering like a candle in the wind. We can't let fear dictate our actions. We need to show we're not afraid. But what if they do have some power? Rachel added, her brow furrowed with concern. What if all of this backfires? We're all we have, Maya insisted, feeling the heat rise in her chest. We'll face them together. David nodded slowly, respect in his eyes, although anxiety etched his features. They all felt the gravity of what was to come. Each of their hearts beat in sync, fear mingling with anticipation. The crowd continued to buzz around them, but Maya's mind was engulfed in uncertainty. Later that night, as stars blinked to life, Maya gathered with her friends in the park, sharing stories under the mature oak tree they had frequented for years. Each tale was a thread in a tapestry, weaving their shared history, a fabric that glimmered with strength and hope. I remember when we stood together against that storm last fall, David shared. We thought our roofs would cave in, but we came out dry and stronger. Rachel chimed in, recalling a time when the town banded together to help a family after a fire left them homeless. We had everyone show up, bringing food and blankets. It felt like we were unstoppable. Maya felt warmth settle in her chest, nurturing the spark of courage it took to stand up against the shadows. They all had their vulnerabilities, but facing them together had transformed every fear into determination. As the moon climbed higher, a veil fell over their laughter, replaced by a sinking feeling. The uncertainty of the stranger's threat loomed large. What if they were right to be afraid? What if unity wasn't enough? The next day arrived, bleak and heavy. As Maya and her friends prepared for the confrontation, an eerie silence gripped the square. She could see the apprehension etched across the faces of those around them. Each glance was laden with doubt, but together, they repeated their mantra, "We are not afraid." When the hour grew close, they took their places in the square, shoulder to shoulder, hearts racing. Maya stood at the front, scanning the horizon for the stranger's approach. Moments felt like hours, tension stretching like an elastic band ready to snap. With a flash of dark fabric, the stranger emerged again, their presence like a storm cloud ready to burst. "Here you are, so eager to defy me," they said, eyes glinting with malice. "But know this, every choice has a consequence." Maya stepped forward, her voice resolute despite the tremor inside her. "We know what we're standing for. You may think you hold power, but we draw strength from each other. Show us what you have." The crowd murmured, uncertainty and courage mingling in the air, but Maya held her ground. As the stranger approached, a storm of thoughts raged in her mind. Would they unveil the true nature of their power? Would they cower or rise to the challenge? "Today, I offer you a single choice," the stranger announced, a wicked smile creeping across their face. "Will you bend to my will, or will you embrace the chaos I can unleash?" Maya's heart raced. This was their moment. With every ounce of strength within her, she faced the stranger. "Together, we choose the chaos that makes us stronger, not your boundaries." A hush fell over the crowd, anticipation electrifying the air. As uncertainty mixed with hope, Maya realized they were at the cusp of something transformative. Would their solidarity hold firm against the weight of the stranger's threat? The question loomed large as the gravity of the moment settled in their fate danced on the edge of a knife. What chaos were they prepared to embrace in the name of their community? The tension was thick, like the air before a thunderstorm. Maya felt the weight of every eye on her, the doubts swirling like dark clouds above. The stranger surveyed the crowd, relishing the unease. But inside, something shifted within Maya. She could feel it, a spark igniting as her neighbors stood shoulder to shoulder, determination shimmering in their eyes. "Your threats mean nothing to us," she shouted, her voice breaking through the silence, sharp and clear. "We're not looking for destruction. We're seeking unity. This community is a living tapestry woven from our stories and memories, tales of resilience, of love, and of family. You think you can tear that apart with fear?" The stranger's smirk faltered, replaced by something darker. "Tread carefully, little lady. You toy with forces you don't understand. Maya's heart raced, but she refused to back down. What we understand is each other. We've faced storms before, we've rebuilt from the ashes. You're underestimating our spirit. Echoing her words, the crowd began to chant, their voices rising in defiance. Together we stand. Together we fight. With every chant, Maya felt her strength multiply, reflecting back from her neighbors. Beside her, David raised his hand, rallying the crowd. This is our home. These are our roots. We won't trade our heritage for empty promises, nor will we give in to intimidation. The stranger recoiled, eyes narrowing at the surge of courage unfurling among them. This is surprising. But you're naive if you think this will change my plans for you. But the crowd had shifted from vulnerability into resolve, the spark of unity igniting their spirits into wildfire. Rachel stepped forward, passion blazing in her eyes. We want to let you redefine us. Our story is ours to tell. We will show you what we're made of. The townspeople echoed her sentiments, their voices merging into a powerful chorus of defiance. From deep within, Maya felt a rush of warmth surging through her hope, strong and vibrant. They were not just a gathering facing intimidation. They were a community rediscovering their heartbeat. Fueled by shared stories, by their intertwined lives, they were stronger than the darkness that loomed. The dingy weather began to relent, the clouds parting to reveal patches of blue. As the light broke through, so too did a wave of clarity in Maya's heart. This was their moment, they could reclaim their narrative. Let us show them our stories. She declared with fervor. Let us show them what we stand to lose. With that, the crowd began to share their tales, echoing through the square like the beautiful notes of a symphony. One by one, they stepped forward, recounting memories of laughter and solidarity, hardships turned into stepping stones, and love blossoming in the darkest moments. Each story was a building block for their defense, a testament to their unbreakable bond. The stranger stood by, watching as the tide turned against them. Their confident demeanor began to crack, uncertainty flickering in their eyes. You think your stories can stop me? They sneered, but their voice wavered, faltering in the face of unwavering unity. More than ever, Maya yelled back, this is our truth and our strength. We will defend it. It was a declaration of resilience echoing in the hearts of everyone standing there. Their trust in one another resonated so deeply that it seemed to ripple across the square. The winds shifted, carrying hope and strength. The stranger, now visibly shaken, began to retreat, the shadows dissolving around them. We'll see how long this lasts. With a final glance, they turned and walked away, leaving them to their triumphant cries and newfound strength. As the last hint of darkness faded, a collective sigh of relief washed over the crowd. Tears of hope filled Maya's eyes. She couldn't help but smile at her friends and neighbors, at the united spirit encircling them. Together, they embraced the reality that they had fought for, an extraordinary journey birthed from turmoil. In that moment, they understood their fight wasn't just about land or homes, it was about love, togetherness, and never losing sight of who they were. They were a community, binding their stories into a legacy that even the darkest presence could not extinguish. Days later, the sun would rise anew, casting its golden rays over a town that had transformed its fears into resilience, but every single person there would carry the lessons learned from that moment etched in their hearts forever. With the corporate threat vanquished, they made a pact never to forget their shared power, their stories, and most importantly, their unbeatable bond. They had been transformed, and as they glanced at one another, only one thought crossed their minds: together is how they would always face the storms. This victory would soar far beyond them, telling the world that in the face of adversity, it was the ties of community that led them to finally reclaim their narrative. Now, as the curtain falls, this is not just the closing of a chapter. It's an invitation to us all to continue lifting each other, crafting a tapestry of love and unity that no one can tear apart. So, if you found inspiration in this story, subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive tales that will fuel your soul. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm, it makes a huge difference. Comment below your reactions and feelings about this ending. Your insights matter. And share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. You need to share it now. This is the moment to show your support because only true fans understand the importance of standing together. Don't wait not even one more second.